Hello everyone, welcome to lecture 3, Introduction to Power System Protection. Myself, Professor Rajendra Kiwari, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering from Angdi Institute of Technology and Management, Belagavi. The topics covered in the previous lecture are the objective of the power system protection. So the objective of the power system protection is to isolate the faulty section in an electrical power network and making sure that the healthier part of the electrical power network is satisfactorily working without any damage because of the fault. So the power system protection it is deals with the electrical power engineering with the protection of the electrical equipments which are to be protected from the faults, so that whenever the fault occurs, that fault is been isolated and the remaining part has been protected. Now when you look at the components of the power system which are needed to be protected are the generators, the transformers, the bus bars and the transmission lines. When you look at generators, so generators are placed in the power stations. Obviously that is the major part to generate the voltage that has to be protected. Next, whatever the voltage is generated at the generator, that has to be given to the transformer for stepping up that voltage. Again, transformers needs the protection. Now from the transformer, the power transformer, it has been transmitted to the bus bar, right? From the bus bar, again the bus bar needs to be protected, and from the bus bar it has been given to the transmission line. Even for the transmission line, it should be protected. So here we don't find only one generator in a power station. There will be more than two generators which are synced to each other. At the same time, the power transformers are synced. At the same time, the bus bar are synced. So if any fault occurs on the bus bar, there is a chance that the zone there's a fault occurring on the bus bar can cause the breakage in the first section as well as in the second section of the whole station. Now the protective system element. So what are the elements which are required for these components of power system? So those are nothing but the fuses, the protective relays, the circuit breakers, the instruments, transformers such as the current transformer and the potential transformer, and the DC batteries. So here a fuse is a type of again a protective device which is going to interrupt the excessive current so that the further damage by overheating is prevented, right? The fuse is one of the simple element which is used in our residential house and in a smaller circuit. Next part would be the relay. So when you look at the relay is again a compact device which is designed to sense the a fault, and that fault sensed by the relay has been given to the circuit breaker to trip. So whenever the fault occurs. Now what is the circuit breaker? It is an automatic operated electrical switch to protect an electrical circuit from the damage caused by the overload or the short circuit. Its function is to interrupt the current flow after the protective relay, which is going to detect the fault condition. So there are, as I said, there are different types of voltage level of circuit breakers. We can find low voltage circuit breakers, we can find medium voltage circuit breaker, we have high voltage circuit breaker also. So under the classification of high voltage circuit breakers, we have we have numbers of circuit breakers. One is oil circuit breaker, we have a vacuum circuit breaker, we have sulfur hexafluoride circuit breaker, we have air circuit breaker. So these four circuit breakers are used in the generating station, as well as in the grid section, as well as in the receiving station. So when you look at the current transformer and the voltage transformer, these transformers are used to step down the high voltage and the high current of the electrical power system to a convenient level for the relay. So these were the topics which we have covered in the previous class. And at the same time, why do we need the protection in power system? That was also discussed. So the main funda is that whenever the fault occurs on any of the power system, it should be quickly detected and disconnected from the system. Now, if the fault is not rectified, then heavy current can damage that equipment in the power system network, and also it could cause unnecessary interruption of service to the customer. So for the detection of the fault part, we need protection system. So there is a separate protection for each of the equipment in the power system, such as the generator, transformer, bus bar, transmission line, and the distribution line. Now these sections are protected by a protective relay system which have instrument transformers, protecting relays, circuit breakers, and some communication equipment. Now in case if the fault occurs, the associated relay is going to detect the fault, and it is going to send the trip signal to the circuit breaker to isolate that faulty section from the rest of the power system in order to avoid the further damage in the power system network. So today we shall be continuing the protection zone, which is required for the protection of the equipment in the power system. Now, protective system. To provide the isolation for faulty part quickly without disturbing the system, and to achieve this, the entire power system is divided into protective zones. Now, the idea is to provide zones to each and every element of the power system. So a different zone will be given to, protective zone will be provided to each and every part of the power system element. Now the protective zone is defined as the part of power system which is protected by certain protective scheme. It covers one or more, or at the most two elements of a power system. Now here what we can see is that there is a protective zone of each element. So the figure shows the protective zone of each element here. So what we can see that this is the generator, this is the bus zone. So we can have parallel one more generator connected over here. So this is a bus bar wherein we can communicate, or we can connect numbers of bus bars, the generators and the transformers, and on the same side. So the generator is connected to a bus bar, and from the bus bar it is given to the transformer. Again from the transformer it is given to again a bus bar. Again from bus bar it is given to the transmission line. So from here the power is transmitted to the transmission line and further. So now the X marks indicates the circuit breaker. So for each of the equipments or the elements, there is a protective zone. Now the The generator has a protective zone, separate zone. The bus zone has a protective zone. The transformer has a separate zone. The bus bar is again having a separate zone. Again, the transmission line has a protective zone. So the X mark indicates a circuit breaker now. So now here the red arrow indicates a fault which is occurring in the transformer zone as well as in the bus zone. So the fault which is occurring within the zone is called as internal fault, right? The fault which is occurring within the zone is called as internal fault. But the fault which is occurring outside the zone, say, so this is the outside zone. Even this part, this part, this, this and this. So the blue indicates the fault occurring in outside zone. So that is called as external fault. So now if the fault occurs in the transformer zone, that can be rectified by the relay. Relay is going to sense that fault and circuit breaker will trip, making sure that the transformer and the bus bar and the generator is safe. Any fault which is occurring within the zone is going to cause the tripping of relay, which causes the opening of circuit breaker located within that zone only, as I discussed. Now for external fault occurring, relay will not operate as there is no relays or circuit breaker connected to the unprotected zone. So the red in the figure indicates the fault taking place in the transformer as well as the bus zone, so that the relay is going to operate and causes the opening of circuit breaker. Similarly, the blue indicates the fault taking place neither in the transformer zone nor in the bus zone. So the relay will not operate. Right. Now, even though it is a fault, but it's not coming under any zone. Even though there is a fault occurring in this particular line, it's not coming under any zone. So the relay will not operate and it will not clear the protection system. So this may damage the healthy part of the system, the blue one. So the part which is unprotected is called the dead spot or the dead zone. So how to avoid that dead zone? So this is the same discussion what I've discussed. How to avoid the dead zone. So here is a picture wherein the zones are overlapped to each other. The generator, the transformer, the bus bar are having their own protective zones. At the same time, the zones of the generator as well as the transformer are been overlapped to each other. Right? So the adjacent zones are overlapped, so there is no chance of existence of dead spot in the system, saying that no part of the system is left unprotected. So as you can see that if the fault occurs in this particular point, both the circuit breakers of the generator zone and the transformer zone is going to break. Right? But at the same time, it is also realized, right, that the fault taking place in the overlap portion can cause more circuit breakers to get tripped than the minimum necessary to disconnect the fault. So as I said, if the fault occurs in this part, the circuit breaker of the transformer as well as the circuit breaker of the generator zone is going to trip. So it says that more circuit breakers get tripped than the minimum necessary to disconnect the faulty part. So this is how the protective zone works, and we are trying to avoid the dead zone. Now the zones of protection system, again the same content it is. So the power system is divided into several zones of protection. Each zone of protection contains one or more component of a power system in addition to two circuit breakers. Now when the fault occurs within the boundary of a particular zone, the protection system is responsible for the protection of the zone, to act to isolate every equipment within that zone from the rest of the system as discussed. So the circuit breakers are inserted between the components of the zone and the rest of the power system. Right? Thus, the location of the circuit breaker helps to define the boundaries of the zones of protection. It's the same concept what I have discussed in the previous two slides. Different neighboring zones of protections are made to overlap each other, which ensures that no part of the power system remains without protection now. So we'll see this in next part. So as we have seen only one single diagram. We have generator, we have bus bar, we have transformer. Again we have the bus bar. Again we have transmission line. So we have one more neighboring part with the same configuration. We have one more neighboring, and these two are they are connected. So how we are going to overlap these two also? However, the occurrence of the fault within the overlap region will initiate a tripping sequence of different circuit breakers so that minimum necessary to disconnect the faulty element. So here is the part. So we have discussed only this part. What if we have one more adjacent to this same connection? As I said, the power station will have more than two generators. Why? Because if one of the generator fails, the other generator has to supply the power, right, or generate the power. So this is again from this side. This is a generator zone protection. It has its circuit breaker, right? This is a transformer protection. It has two circuit breakers on both the sides, right? Now again, this is a transmission line protection. So you can see the dot marks. It has two circuit breakers. Again, there is a electric high voltage switchgear protection, right? Now come with this, we have the same configuration on the same side, right? And how these two are connected? By using a bus bar. So this is a bus coupler, right? Now by using a bus coupler, we are connecting these two single lines, and this is we are going to place one circuit breaker in between these two single line diagrams, right? Now here they have made an overlapping, so we can check this. The overlapping is done between the protection, the generator circuit breaker and the transformer circuit breaker. So at this on the same side, left side, it is also the same. So this is one whole high voltage switch gear protection. So obviously it's a high voltage, right? Again on the safer side, on the same side, so there is a separate zone for the transformer, right? So here you can see that after the transformer we have one circuit breaker, right? And as I said, a bus coupler is used to connect one more line diagram by a bus coupler, and in this bus bar we are going to place one more circuit breaker. So again, the circuit breaker of the transformer as well as the circuit breaker of the transmission lines are overlapped with each other, right? Therefore it says that the neighboring different neighboring zones of protections are made to overlap with each other to ensure no part of the power system remains unprotected, right? And this is how the the protection has been done. If the fault occurs in this particular part, say if the fault occurs on this bus bar zone, the circuit breakers which are connected to these bus bar are going to trip. This is going to trip this bar, it's going to trip, it's going to trip this also. There's a chance that this can trip this also, this, depending upon the timings what they have given. Right? This is again the same picture what the previous one has been displayed. Generator, circuit breaker, there's a transformer, circuit breaker, both circuit breakers. Transmission line, it will have both circuit breakers. Again there's a bus bar. So the same line is on the left side, right? So this line is connected to this line by using a bus bar. So again here, so the same case happens when there is a fault happening. Primary and backup protection. So if any fault which is going to occur in the protected zone, the relays are going to sense the fault and is going to send the signal to the circuit breaker to open and isolate the fault. So the relays which are used over there are the primary relays, right? And they are the first line of defense. If due to any reason, if the primary relays fails to operate, then the backup protection scheme is going to clear that fault, and that backup line protection is going to act as a second line of defense. So here the backup, before operating the backup relay, it is going to give some time to the primary relay to operate first. If it fails to operate, then that at that time the backup relay is going to operate. So when a backup relay operates, a larger part of the system is disconnected from the power source, but this is unavoidable, right? So there are two protection, one is primary and backup. Primary protection is a first line of defense, backup protection is a second line of defense. Primary protection can fail due to failure in circuit breaker, protective relay, tripping circuit, DC tripping circuit, or the voltage. If both the protection fails, there is a possibility of severe damage to the system. So the important requirement of backup relay is that it must operate within the sufficient time delay so that the primary relay is given a chance to operate. Also the backup relay should coordinate with the primary relay. So that will be designed in such a way that both relays are going to operate and coordinate with each other. Now in this figure, this is the transmission line and E and F are the your circuit breakers, right? So this is a power station 1, this is power station 2. B, D, G, I are the primary protection. A, C, H, I are the backup protection. So here 90% of the faults are cleared by the primary protection. If the fault occurs, 90% of the fault is cleared by the primary protection. So the 10% of the fault are occurred due to the failure in tripping of circuit breaker, failure in detection of the fault by the relay, there is a fault in the current transformer or the power transformer. So only the 10% of fault can occur due to the various failures. But the 90% of the fault can be cleared by primary protection. So 90% of the fault is cleared by the primary protection. That is the first line of protection. Now the 10% fault is occurring due to the failure of the circuit breaker, failure of the relay, or failure of the detection of the fault is cleared by the backup protection. Now there are three types of backup relay backup protection. In this scheme, a single breaker is used by both the primary as well as the backup protection. For relay backup protection, only single circuit breaker is used by both primary as well as backup protection. Breaker backup protection. Separate breakers are provided for primary as well as the backup protection. In case of remote backup protection, one breaker for primary protection in one station, then another breaker for backup protection in another station. So by remote control also these protection are going to work. So this is how the protective zone is required for each of the elements in the components used in the power system network, and overlapping is also necessary. Because of that, there are chances of uh, avoiding the dead spot. And also, how does the primary protection and the backup protection are going to work? As the primary protection is going to act as a first line of defense, and the backup protection is going to act as a second line of defense. So we'll be seeing how exactly the circuit, the relay is going to sense the fault, and that sense signal is been given to the circuit breaker so that it is going to open and trip the circuit in the next class. Thank you.